Well, is the vendor Roche? I mean, or does this include some other companies being licensed or any other steps that you might take?
Roche has made very clear that they do not intend for intellectual property issues to become a barrier in their meeting those representations, and they've indicated a willingness to work with other manufacturers who are prepared and willing to do so, and we have asked the FDA, I have dispatched the FDA to work with them and any potential vendor to do so. I will tell you that while I am not a chemist, I have pressed hard enough on this issue to understand the process, and it is a very complicated, multi-part process that includes, in some cases, rather dangerous explosive processing. And it is not likely, in my judgment, nor those who advise me, that we will see any other manufacturers of Tamiflu certainly within a year and more likely 2 years. And that would be true in this country or in any other country.
Well, let me go back. There are companies in other countries that are ready is a question, but who have expressed an interest in manufacturing a generic version of Tamiflu and have been inquiring with Roche. The problem I mentioned in my opening is that it seems pretty clear we have an insufficient manufacturing capacity for anti-flu drugs today. Would you agree with that?
That's true.
Yeah. Back on August 30 of 2003, World Trade Organization members adopted the so-called Paragraph 6 agreement, and it spelled out the rules by which countries with insufficient manufacturing capacity could import needed pharmaceuticals produced under compulsory licenses. The U.S. government chose to opt out, and the U.S. persuaded the EU and Japan and Australia and other countries to opt out of that system. That means that if Indian or other companies developed a source of Tamiflu, that the U.S. government would not be able to import those antivirals into this country. And I guess my question is, does that, in retrospect, look like a wise decision or not?
Mr. Allen, let me just make clear that in a pandemic situation, I think all those who have modeled and studied it believe that whatever you'll get what's produced domestically. And that's one of the reasons we have pushed so hard for Roche to develop domestic manufacturing capacity, which they have agreed to do and are in the process of developing. I don't believe that will be an issue in a pandemic because I think people who have it within their borders will keep it.
That may well be if it's global and not concentrated in one country or another. Back when we had the Cipro scare, when we had the anthrax scare here, and Cipro was the available drug to treat it, Secretary Thompson said, essentially threatened that compulsory licensing. Would you be prepared to do the same? Now, I grant you what you said before. I grant you the manufacturing process is long and difficult and complicated, but would you be prepared to issue a compulsory license if Roche failed to provide an adequate authority to expand production here?
I do not contemplate that being a circumstance that would present itself. It is important, however, that the people of this country know we will do everything necessary to protect them.
Thank you. One final thing. Back on May 20th of 2004, I wrote to the Department seeking information about the Department's analysis of the U.S.-Australian Free Trade Agreement and its potential impact on Medicare and Medicaid programs. That intersection is of, I think, great importance. I haven't had a response to that. I submitted a question for the record to you at this committee's hearing on February 15th of this year asking for an update. I sent a follow-up letter to HHS on April 20, 2005, also seeking an update. I still don't have a response. I would urge you, Mr. Secretary, to respond to that. It's a matter, I believe, the intersection between our health care programs and our free trade agreements, I think, is a matter of great importance, and I would very much appreciate a prompt response.
That does not sound like the type of response that we aspire to give, and I'll follow back up on that.
I'm sure it's not. Thank you.